Good morning, and welcome to the CBS Newscast. I'm Jimmy Appendix, here to bring you the first world news of today. In the North Pacific Ocean, the war between America and Japan continues. American soldiers are fighting the Japanese fleet in the air using the new aircrafts built by the trusted vehicles of the companies across the nation. Due to the new technology discovered by American intelligence, it is giving our American troops an advantage that will surely change the tide of the war. It is now known as of 3 days ago that Japanese enemy fleet commander had previously chosen the North Pacific Ocean, for it is close to our naval base Pearl Harbor, which was previously attacked not too long ago, that has devastated our fleets and forced our hand into the war against Japan and Germany. It is recently discovered technology of discovering the Japanese quotes, our fearless Pacific Leader Fleet commander has an opportunity to understand and know the Japanese plan of attack. I will be heading over to the scene to get a closer look.
Hello, I am at the scene at the U.S. base in the North Pacific Ocean, and this just in. An enemy aircraft has just destroyed the U.S. base. This is live. 4 Japanese aircrafts have just destroyed the U.S. base. It is unknown at this moment if there are any survivors. The enemy fleet is making their way back to their carriers. The U.S. torpedoes have just been shot down. I'm told around 36 out of the 42 torpedoes have been demolished by the enemy. And wait, are you getting this? The U.S. carrier forces are making their way to Japanese forces. The U.S. is attacking the enemy fleets. Oh my. Japan is left defenseless against the mighty U.S. troops. The torpedoes must have been distraction used to catch the Japanese at their weakest. The U.S. is striking down Japan. They have just sunk down the ships Akaji, Kaja, Saru, and Haru. If this continues, the U.S. will gain a victory over Japan. This could be a turning point for the U.S., a huge turning point during this war. What should we call this battle? The Battle of Midway. Thank you. I'm Jimmy Appendix.
And now back to the desk. Iwo Jima is a small volcanic island approximately 660 miles south of Japan. This island was not so small when it came to the cause of the war, because with this small island, it was a perfect spot for an aircraft carrier to land, as well as an ideal spot for huge bombs to reach the homeland. The United States, as you know, has been trying to invade Iwo Jima for months, and as of last week, on February 19, 1945, the United States officially invaded Iwo Jima on the land, and as our soldiers entered, all the Japanese soldiers fought underground in bunkers in the island's volcanic rock. A total of 70,000 U.S. Marines and 18,000 Japanese soldiers took part of this war. With these soldiers, about 7,000 Marines were killed and 20,000 more were wounded. As for the Japanese soldiers, 216 were captured by Marines while the others were killed in battle. This was a bloody war. But scoring this island could help determine the outcome of the war. There was a photograph that has just been published, taken by John Rosenthal, the famous photograph of 5 Marines and 1 Navy corpsman raising the flag. 3 of these men, Strink, Solsley, and Block, were sadly killed before the Battle of Iwo Jima was over. Iwo Jima will be one for the history books, and with this island, we are now able to breach the inner defenses of Japan and finally start to end the terror caused by the Japanese people. Thank you.
And now, time for a commercial break.
Cheerios, it's a Cheerios. Cheerios, it's a Cheerios. What is small but large in fiber?
Helps to get a jumpstart on the early morning desires. #1 brand to support the war. Standing by the side of the U.S. soldiers.
Cheerios, it's a Cheerios. Cheerios, good goes around.
Cheerios.
Thank you, and now back to the show.
My name is Sophie Davidson. Thank you for tuning in today. It has been reported that 12,000 American soldiers that have been deployed in the Philippines surrendered to the Japanese. The soldiers marched alongside 64,000 Filipino soldiers on a route to death. The 60-mile Bataan Death March has captured the lives of some 5,200 American soldiers. The conditions were reported as some of the worst in war history, including Japanese butchery, disease, exposure to sun, lack of food, and lack of water. Prisoners were bayoneted, shot, beheaded, or left to die on the side of the road. A survivor stated that the stronger were not permitted to help the weaker. We would then hear the shots behind us. The brutality is in the hands of the Japanese. The capturers believed that a soldier should die before they surrender. The march lasted 5 days, and soldiers still carrying arms arrived in San Fernando. A general has reported back to United States officials stating that horrendous conditions still being endured in the prisons. He states that the prison pen is jammed with sick, dying, and dead American and Filipino soldiers. They are sprawled amid the filth and maggots that cover the ground. Virtually all the soldiers here have dysentery. Malaria has also been reported. The Philippines was the last country to surrender to the Japanese in the Southeast Asia, and the Bataan surrender is the largest in Philippine and American history. In Japanese headlines, the march is being documented as a friendly and safe march to camps, while the truth is the exact opposite. The death tally is continuing to climb. An estimated 5,000 to 10,000 soldiers have lost their lives within these horrific days of marching. As always, I will keep you as updated as this news team is. Until then, keep those deployed and their families in your prayers. Reporting live on the Bataan Death March, this is Sophie Davidson. Thank you for listening.
And that is all the time that we have for today. Tune in next time for more world news. I'm Jamia Penix.
I'm Sophie Davidson.
And this has been the CBS Newscast. In the North Pacific Ocean, the war between America and Japan continues. The Japanese soldiers
Jamia!
Reported that 12,000 American soldiers that have been deployed in the... Really?
That there are 36 torpedoes out of the 42 torpedoes that have been demolished by the enemy, and wait, are you getting this? The U.S. carrier forces are making the way to the Japanese carriers. USA is attacking the American. Messed up. Are you singing?
standing by the side of U.S. soldiers.